This episode is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, the #1 seller of games and gaming accessories. And GatheringMagic.com, the #1 resource for Magic the Gathering news and articles.
Hi, I'm Aaron, aka Uncle Landrops from the General Zone blog. This is Lin Sivvi, and today on CMDR Decks, we're going to show you Lin Sivvi's Rebel Base. Alright, so Lin Sivvi is a 1/3 human rebel. I believe her text has been errated to. Human rebel legend for 1 and 2 white. And her activated ability is that you pay X and tap her to search for a rebel card with converted mana cost X or less and put that into play. And then you shuffle your library. And you can pay 3 to put a rebel card on the bottom of your library. Overall, this deck is not a fast deck. It's a control deck. Based on trying to get the game to go long so that you can find your combos. There's a couple of different ways that we can do cool stuff. Or just to play control until we can get enough board state to drown out other people's card advantage and win the game. That's overall the strategy of Lin Sivvi. We've got plenty of ways to disrupt the board. This is probably more of a police style deck. And with the ability to go get creatures whenever we want and to get them back in our library, we can actually recur a lot of the things that we play. It's not a pure rebel deck, but we do have plenty of ways to get card advantage, and Lin Sivvi is the kind of centerpiece of that. So we're going to do things a little bit differently, but I am starting out with basics. We have 26 basic lands, and they're all like various Zendikar full arts. Most of them are this art here, though. So that's that. There's another one. Some more here. I figured I'd go ahead and get into some of the cards in the deck. We have a huge package based on the lands in our deck, and one of those big pieces is land tax. We have an Eternal Dragon. We put the new art in here. I really like plane cycling, and I like having a recurable threat and something I can get out of the graveyard, so being a white deck and playing out of our graveyard is kind of fun, and this is one of the pieces that we use to do that. Solemn Simulacrum, for obvious reasons. It's just a fantastic card and one of my favorites. A lot of the white like ramp cards, quotations, predicate on the idea of being behind on land. So Gift of Estates is one of those cards. If an opponent controls more lands than you, you can go get 3 plains, reveal them, put them in your hand. So this is one of the cool ways that we have to go get plains and to pull them out of our deck to gain card advantage. We've got a Teferi's Puzzle Box in here, so pulling plains out and then being able to draw 3 better cards optimally is a really nice play too. Plus it ensures that we're not going to miss our land drops too. So fundamentals help create the late game, the strong late game that this deck has. Tithe is another one of those, if opponent controls more lands than you, except it's 1 in an instant, and we can go get 2 plains off of this. I do have a Mistveil Plains in here, which is pretty important, so that's really nice to go get with either that or Gift of Estates. I can also do that with Knight of the White Orchid. Again, it's not a rebel, but going to get a plains is pretty huge, especially when we're behind. So building up real quick when we're behind is nice. Endless Horizons is another card I use. I actually probably underplay this. I normally only get about 10 to 12 plains on this, but I probably need to go get 15 to 16 because a lot of times either my opponents don't respect it enough to really care, or I just, or it gets removed after 5 or 6, which I feel like pays for itself anyway. And I do draw into a lot of plains for some weird reason. Probably because I shuffle a lot. Weathered Wayfarer, again, if an opponent controls more lands than you, we can go get a land. This is a 1-drop. There's quite a few utility lands that we're about to show you. That's part of our land package, and then the expedition map. So the first one is Nykthos. This actually isn't as good as you might think in here. A lot of times we've got a Lin Sivvi and maybe like 2 or 3 other rebels out before I wrath the board again. So this is actually, just kind of a quick piece of ramp versus like a long-term answer like in a green deck or a black deck where you actually get to have permanents. I'm probably going to change this, pull this out and put it in a different deck, but I can go get it with Wayfarer or Expedition Map, so it's kind of cool that way. Terrain Generator. As I said, I play a lot of plains. Just being able to kind of ramp ahead of our opponents, even though that isn't good for some of our other cards, it's still really nice in the later game because we'll have a bigger mana pool to play with and our opponents won't. Terramorphic, 39 lands in the deck. We've got to have some stuff that goes to clear that out. Volleying Wilds as well. We play a land hate package, Strip Mine, and Tech Edge. I like to, again, this is a police deck, so we want to have stuff, answers to other people's lands. Mystifying Maze is really cool. I don't know if you guys know this, but taps for colorless, unlike Maze of Ith. It's a little bit more hefty. You have to pay 4 and tap it to exile a target attacking creature that you don't control, and then it gets returned at the end of an opponent's turn. So, or at the end of that turn. So, it's not necessarily the best card, but I really do like it, and it makes my opponents have to pay attention to my lands and how I tap, because I do use this quite a bit. Same with Kor Haven. This adds 1 colorless, and we can pay 1 and 1 white to prevent all combat damage that would be dealt by target attacking creature. Pretty nice little land here. I really, really, really like this, and it saved my butt. I've actually won several games because of this. When you have creatures, when you're playing a monocolored deck, sometimes people like to play Swords of War and Peace, or Sword of War and Peace, and this card kind of owns that. And I play against Jareth too, so that's really cool. Reliquary Tower. I draw a lot of planes off. I tend to draw a lot of planes off of land tax and stuff like that. So having no max hand size is actually useful. Mikokoro is really nice. Again, just being able to draw cards in white is really, really cool. Same reason I play Secluded Steppe. I can go get this with Weathered Wayfarer too, which is kind of cool. Helps me draw a card and get something out of my library. And Amiria is here. I play a lot of planes, so this is relevant, and I do get a lot of creatures in my bin, and it helps really with all the non-rebel creatures, because normally I just want to put the rebels back on the bottom so I can search for them with Lin Sivvi again. But sometimes getting them back and recurring them is nice too. Mistveil Plains is probably like one of the better lands in this deck. It's another Lin Sivvi when I don't have Lin Sivvi out. Puts target card in your graveyard on the bottom of the library as long as I have 2 or more white permanents, and it taps for white. And I can go get it with several of the land searches that you've already seen. So pretty nice little card, kind of hot tech in white in terms of being able to recur our stuff. So I figure we start out with the rebels in terms of real permanents. We've got Ramosian Sergeant. This can search for a rebel 2 or less and put it into play for 3 and a tap. And it's just a little 1/1. So I like to get a lot of these little cheap guys out because I don't have to pay so much with Lin Sivvi, and they can chump block big dudes that don't have trample. Children of Korlis is probably the best 1-drop I can go get. When I'm staring at a board that's almost lethal, I can go, block, tap Lin Sivvi, go search for Children of Korlis, and gain all the life back. That's what Children of Korlis does. You sacrifice Children of Korlis to gain life equal to the life you've lost this turn. So pretty nice little piece of tech. This is Amrou Scout. I like to call him Scribblenauts guy because he kind of looks like the guy in that game. This one searches for rebels 3 or less, puts them into play for 4 and tap. It's a little 2/1 dude. Power and toughness really isn't relevant as long as it's just a creature. I know that's kind of weird, but we're just trying to use these guys to eat defensively. Eat our opponent's creatures defensively. We don't really care so much because we're going to just stall to try to find a wrath. So that's what these guys do. They defend and then they go get more of their kind. Whip Quarter's interesting. This is I really just got him because it's a weird looking art with like a gas mask and there's like a whip because he's a Whip Quarter. Duh. Double white, pay 1 white, tap to tap target creature, and he's a morph creature. So kind of weird, but I do like to play this card a little bit because it does help me if I can tap a creature down post, at the end of my turn or at the end of somebody's turn, so I can attack. Defiant Falcon is one of the most common creatures I'm going to go get with Lin Sivvi first, mostly because he's a 2-cost, so he's cheap, and he's a flyer, and he can go search for more rebels. So this is one of the better creatures in the deck. Ramosian Lieutenant searches for a rebel 3 or less and puts in rebel card 3 or less, puts into play for 4. It's a 1/2 for 1 and a white. Just another way to tutor. So this is when you go to see our Wrath package later on. This is one of the reasons that we don't have any problems with tucking a Lin Sivvi into our deck, is because we have rebels that can go search for Lin Sivvi and get her back out. Defiant Vanguard, one of the little tricky cards in the deck actually. It's 2 and a white. You pay 5 and you can search for a rebel with converted mana cost 4 or less. As you've seen, there's not a whole lot of things that cost more than that. This is kind of expensive, but his big ability is that when he blocks, or at end of combat, you destroy it and all creatures that block this turn. So what we like to do is during combat when somebody attacks, we have untap Lin Sivvi. If it's a big creature that we know we can destroy, we go and put him Defiant Vanguard in front of him and kill him. So it's one of the cool ways that I have to do that. One of the cool tricks. Rappelling Scouts really isn't very good. It's a 1/4 flyer, which is pretty much the only reason it's here is because it's a kind of a big wall, and it can gain protection from stuff. So it's not really that good. Probably is going to be something else. I've got a couple of new rebels I want to try out, and this is probably coming out. Mentor of the Meek. This is because we play weenies, and I have a lot of mana. So being able to draw extra cards in white, pretty huge, and I don't mind paying the cost. Mirror Entity, probably one of the bigger games in this deck. It's one of the 3 or 4 ways that I actually win a game, especially in the late when nobody's got removal and card advantage. And even if they do, I can go put him back in my library and go get him back out. So this is the most recurable and sturdier of my threats, and it's very slow to try to get this online. But once we do, it's really nice. I can usually get people down and dead in 3 or 4 turns. Because they're not going to draw anything late in the game because I've kind of shut them out with some of my other disruption. So we've got our non-rebel creatures here now. This is Aven Mindcensor. Really nice little flash flyer dude. If an opponent would search their library, they'd search the top 4 cards instead. Shuts down a lot of the tutoring that happens in my metagame, and that's quite a bit. Glory is really nice. I like to get this card in my graveyard and online as fast as possible because when I combo this and Mirror Entity and stuff like that, it gets pretty shenanigansy. 2 and a white, creatures you control gain protection from the color of your choice until end of turn. So we're pretty much trying to get our damage through it in the late game, and this is what Glory does. So we've got our quick couple of tutors. Enlightened Tutor for artifacts and enchantments. We have quite a few that'll help us out and end the game that are threats. Idyllic Tutor, another way to search for my enchantments. Bound in Silence isn't one of the cards that we're going to go tutor up with our tutors. It's going to be something we go get with Lin Sivvi because it's a rebel aura. And it's basically pacifism. And because it's a rebel card that gets just straight up put into play, it doesn't actually target because I never cast it. So I can play this on hexproof commanders, and it's really nice. Just a nice little piece of flexibility. I played it on an Ulamog, I think, and I just really like it. It's really kind of another piece of funny tech that I have. Teferi's Puzzle Box is a huge beatdown. It's a 4-cost artifact that allows us to basically shuffle everybody's hands back into their library every turn and draw that many cards. We gain a lot of card advantage off of searching for our planes. Cards like Endless Horizons and Land Tax really get us lands in our hands. And then a lot of times we can just put them back in the bottom of our library and then go pick up new stuff, and we'll have lands as well. So this is a way that I like to, and also because we're playing rebels, we don't really mind putting rebels back on the bottom of our library. We don't have super key creatures, and if we do, we're probably going to cast them, or we can save them for the later part of the game. So Teferi's Puzzle Box does a lot of work in my deck, probably a lot more than it should, and I've actually black bordered this one because I didn't like the white border, and that's pretty much Teferi's Puzzle Box. It's super sweet. As is Anvil of Bogardan. This gives everybody no max hand size, but they get to draw and discard an extra card. This is a way that I can go get Glory in when I have a Reliquary Tower out, or I have this out because it says no max hand size, and I don't have to play it. Pretty cool. And I really like Anvil of Bogardan a little bit in this deck. Blind Obedience is awesome. I play a lot of multiplayer, so this Extort really scales. I have extra mana to do it, and the disruption is really adequate. Artifacts and creatures. And unlike Kismet, which everybody just instantly hates in my group, Blind Obedience can kind of stay out for a couple of turns, and people, don't really hate it that as much until it gets into the later game when they're really trying to get damage in. Spear of Heliod. I actually play Heliod in here, and I thought just playing the Spear would be nice. Pumping on my creatures a little bit won't help, or is a nice little help too, and destroying stuff that is attacking me is also good. So all in all, Spear of Heliod just felt like it needed to be played. I have not actually gone and go gone to go get it with a tutor or played it all but once yet before it immediately got hated out. But it seems really good because it puts pressure on things and it helps me keep my other enchantments. This is Parallax Wave. It's an enchantment for 2 and 2 white. It's got Fading 5. You remove a fade counter to remove a creature from the game. And then when Wave leaves play, each player returns to play all the other cards that were owned. So really interesting little piece of tech here. I like to play it, and I don't mind, pulling all the counters off. It helps me stall certain combos for turns with other creatures, and it helps me protect my stuff from wrath effects as well, from my own wrath even, if that happens. So I do like Parallax Wave a lot in here. It serves multiple functions: offense, defense, protect my board state, and kind of helps me to that card advantage theme. Helm of Possession is really cool. Again, I don't really, I care about my rebels, but I don't also not care about them. I can sack them to go get something better on the board, and then I can tuck them with Lin Sivvi. So this is Helm of Possession, and that's why it's pretty cool, and it gets hated a lot too. Phyrexian Processor is really nice. I particularly enjoy this card merely because it combos really nice with Children of Corliss. I play this, I pay 30 life if it's early on in the game, then I go get Children of Corliss, and I gain it all back, so I never actually lose life. And that's one of the rebel-centric combos that I decided to play when I was looking at other people's lists and trying to figure out what I wanted to play. I really like this Phyrexian Processor combo, so that's the combo I made. Heliod, I can go get it off of an enchantment tutor. Mostly it's just there because of that. I've had to play it a couple of times with little to no success. Sometimes these little cleric enchantment creature tokens are fine. The vigilance is relevant, mostly because I like to tutor with my dudes, and it allows me to attack and then go get something, and on a defensive front. Planeswalkers are one of the ways that I get people to sort of not attack me. So I'm gaining a lot of life off of Planeswalkers. Obviously off of Ajani I'm gaining 2 more life because his +1 ability. I don't really get the ultimate off a lot. I like to use the vigilance counter, or the +1/+1 counter and vigilance until end of turn too. So he's just not. I'm not here to try to ultimate any of this Planeswalker in particular, but it's really nice to have him. Elspeth Knight-Errant, really cool little threat. I don't really use the second +1 ability, and I've barely gotten to the ultimate, but just getting more creatures out and blocking is really nice. Elspeth Tirel, I just picked her up recently in a trade. I don't know how good she is yet, but I'm hoping that gaining the life gain will be relevant and the tokens will be good too. Elspeth, Champion of the Sun, Master of Karate and Friendship for everyone. She is a house. The -3 ability pretty much wraths everyone. Her +1 gets me a bunch of tokens. I really love this artwork a lot. So all around, just a solid card, and a card that I love in this deck. This is my copy of Gideon Jura. It is obviously not Gideon, but actually Tommy when he becomes the White Ranger. A bunch of guys in my group, again, this is one of the fun things that we did. I found all the different Power Rangers that they did for Planeswalkers. There's like Billy, that's Jace, Balerion, there's a Koth, that's Jason, there's a green version of Tommy as the Green Ranger for Garruk Wildspeaker, and I gave them all out and I said, hey, let's all play these, and this is the one that I kept. Gideon, Champion of Justice, not very good, but people seem to irrationally hate this card. It's hilarious. I really like to play him early on so that people are like, oh my gosh, he's playing a Planeswalker, what the heck? And it's really weird. Card Liberated. Again, obviously this is going to be a real card in the deck. Exiling permanents, being colorless, all these things kind of help make Karn really awesome. White Sun Zenith. This is a card I have set the record for in casting in a game. I think it's like I had 3 or 4 opportunities to cast it. I think I used it 3 or 4 times, and it was very weird getting this card multiple times in a game like that. So if you can play your White Sun Zenith, this card is like a 25-cent rare. I love it, especially in here when I can go, all I need to do is White Suns, and then I Lin Sivvi for a mirror entity, and then I battle. that's one of the little quick combos that I have in here to win the game. I don't like tokens much, but when I do, White Sun Zenith is really cool in this deck. So now we're at our like miscellaneous instant removal stuff. This is Change of Heart. It's 1 with 3 buyback. Target creature cannot attack this turn. This is not a real card. I don't know why I'm playing this. This is probably going to come out after I do this video for something else that's nicer. But it's still interesting. I've used it against Zur, and that was pretty funny. This is 2 arms. Not 2 arms as in 1, 2, but 2 arms as in let's go to battle. Untap all creatures you control and draw a card. This is really nice when I can get multiple things off of Lin Sivvi in a battle, in a situation, because most times people aren't counting that I'm going to go get 1 thing, but if I can go get 2, that's really nice. Wing Shards. Target player sacrifices an attacking creature with Storm. This card is absurd. Condemn. Put target creature on the bottom of its owner's library. Gain life equal to its toughness. They get 2. Again, just trying to help out with the threats. I am the board police, so this is a lot of my removal. Crib Swap, and most of it's exile. That exiles and puts a Shapeshifter token. There's Swords. There's Path. We have a Disenchant. We play Abolish, which is really nice. I like being able to pitch planes because I do search and get a lot of planes into my hand. So this card is most often free. Ray of Distortion is a weird one. It's a 3-in-1, 1 white, destroy target artifact or enchantment, flashback for 6. I play this actually a lot more than I thought I would, so it's a nice one. Again, being the board police, you need an extra enchantment artifact hate, and this is mine, Ray of Distortion. And then Return to Dust, Oblation. Lapse of Certainty is one of my favorite cards, like ever, I think. Counter target spell, put it on top of its library if it's countered that way. Return a white. This is a white card, everybody. This isn't blue. It's pretty exciting. Martial Coup. Again, this is our Wrath package, so we like to have stuff where we can get ahead on our board state, and once we Wrath, we can go then play Lin Sivvi, and then go search for a Mirror Entity and beat down with our soldier tokens. Again, another nice way to kind of get ahead. Retribution of the Meek, my favorite one-sided Wrath. It's 2 and a white. Bury all creatures with power 4 or greater is what the card says. It's obviously destroy with you can definitely regenerate, but this really gets a lot of threats off the field, and it keeps our stuff, so that's why I like it. Howl of Burial. Again, I mentioned earlier that Lin Sivvi doesn't mind to be tucked as long as we have a rebel in our hands when we cast this, so this is a really cool way to do that. Austere Command. Terminus, and we do believe in miracles, actually. I've cast this a couple times for its miracle cost. And our last card is Wrath of God. Lin Sivvi now would like to thank you guys for watching today's episode of CMDR Decks. As always, please favorite and subscribe, and if you're looking for us, you can find us at thegeneralzone.blogspot.com. Pass the turn.